Raducanu overcame a tough period within her second-round match against Caroline Garcia to secure safe progression to round 3 of the Indian Wells Masters. The teenager needed 3 sets to beat her French opponent, but eventually secure a 6-1, 3-6, 6-1 victory. The Briton raced out of the blocks, using all her power and aggression to blow away her much more experienced opponent and take the first set within half an hour. The second set was more difficult as Garcia rallied and leveled the match, with Raducanu coming under pressure for the first time in the match. But her own response was superb as she dominated the final set to win her first match in the Californian desert and end a poor run of form which saw her win only 1 of her 6 games prior to this one. Raducanu got off to the perfect start, taking little more than a minute to serve out the first game before dropping just 1 point in the second to get the first break. Garcia offered real opposition for the first time at 3-1 down when she threatened to break back, but the teenager survived 4 break points for a gritty hold to take real control of the first set. And the US Open champion offered a clinic in how to get the job done when returning, by hitting a sweet cross-court background to break for a second time in the opening set. That was followed up by a comfortable hold to take a 1-0 lead in the match in just 27 minutes. Raducanu was playing her best tennis of the season so far in that set, and came back out for the second set hoping to make similarly light work of booking her place in round 3. She got off to the best start in her quest to do that, breaking Garcia again in the first game to give the impression that the tide was not going to turn. Garcia was trying to be aggressive in her serve, but that only seemed to rile up Raducanu, who was strong and powerful throughout the match. The fact the British teen was in such control seemed to have flustered her French opponent, who swatted a ball away angrily after a particularly poor unforced error. But she rallied and, after a couple of traded advantages, pulled off her first break of the game to level the scores in the second set. Raducanu's nose had been bloodied for the first time in the match and, given her recent record, there were questions over how she might react to suffering a setback for the second time. British fans would then have been worried when she completely shanked a double fault, her 4th of the match, and threatened to allow herself to be broken again in the 4th game. Fortunately, the teenager managed to dig deep and hold, proving that she does have the grit needed to serve out those games where she comes under pressure. Despite missing out on that break, Garcia kept plugging away and eventually got that breakthrough in Raducanu's next service game. She produced a huge cross-court backhand to convert breakpoint and take control of the second set at 4-2. Garcia passed up 5 set points at 5-3 and it looked for a moment as though Raducanu would have the chance to play for a straight sets victory, but eventually the French woman got over the line in that second set. But Raducanu's response was first-rate, coming out swinging in the decided to race into a 3-0 lead and give her opponent a mountain to climb. Garcia got on the board with her next service game, but Raducanu blew her away straight away to make it 4-1 and put herself within 8 points of a place in the third round. She won all 8, cruising across the finish line as Garcia looked as though she had already given everything she had in the tank just by taking Raducanu to 3 sets.